her neck. That necklace was Della's only possession, and she was overcome with her love for Jim and desire to give him a gift. Della stood in front of the mirror and took a long look at herself.
If Jim doesn't kill me before taking a second look at me, I can explain. But what could I do with $1.87?
At 7 o'clock, dinner was ready. Jim was never late coming from work. Della held the gold chain in her hand and sat near the door. Then she heard his step and turned white for a minute. She had a way of saying a prayer for the smallest of everyday things, and now she whispered,
Please God, make him think that I'm still pretty.
The door opened and Jim stepped in. He looked thin and pale. He was only 22 and he had a wife to care for. He needed a new coat and gloves to keep him warm. When Jim moved inside the door, his eyes were fixed upon Della. There was an expression in them which she could not read, and that frightened her. It was not of anger or surprise, nor fear, nor any of the feelings she had been prepared for. Della went to him.
Jim, my love, do not look at me that way. I had to sell my necklace because I couldn't have lived through Christmas without giving you a gift. Say Merry Christmas and let us be happy. You don't know what a nice and beautiful gift I have brought for you.
You sold your necklace?
Sold and gone. Do you not like me just as well? I'm the same person without my necklace, right?
Jim looked about the room as if looking for something. He opened the jewel box that held Della's necklace and said,
So, it's gone.
You don't need to look for it. It's sold and gone. Sold for you, boy. It's Christmas Eve. Be nice to me. The necklace might be gone, but nobody could ever count my love for you. Shall I put the dinner on, Jim?
Jim seemed to be awakened suddenly. He took a package from his coat and threw it on the table.
Don't mistake me, Della. There's nothing in this world that will change my love for you. But if you open the package first, you may see why you frightened me.
White fingers quickly tore at the string and paper. There was a scream of joy and at last a change into tears and cries. For there was the most beautiful diamond pendant that would have made a perfect match for her necklace. Beautiful pendant, just that the necklace was no longer hers.
I could still wear this on a string and still look elegant, Jim. And oh, Jim, you haven't seen what I have bought for you.
She happily held it out to him in her open hands. The gold chain seemed so bright.
Isn't it wonderful, Jim? I looked all over the town to find it. You will have to look at the time 100 times a day. Give me your watch. I want to see how it looks on you.
Instead of obeying, Jim took a step back, put his hands under the back of his head and smiled.
Well, let's put our Christmas presents away. They are too nice to use right now. I have to sell my watch to get money for your pendant. And now, why don't we go to church and celebrate Christmas?
The Magi were wise men, wonderfully wise men who brought gifts to baby Jesus. They invented the art of giving Christmas gifts. Being wise, their gifts were wise ones. And here are two young people who most unwisely gave the greatest treasures of their life for their loved ones. Jim and Della finished dinner and walked together to watch the nativity in a nearby church. Hand in hand, with many dreams in their heart, they were the wisest. Everywhere, they are the wisest. They are the Magi. stopped at the sign of Head Samuel Jewelers. She ran up the steps to the shop, out of breath.
Will you buy my necklace?
I buy jewelers. Take off your necklace and let me take it off.
The jeweler took a close look and said,
$20.
Give it to me, quick.
The next 2 hours went by as if they had wings. Della looked in all stores to choose a gift for Jim. She found it at last. It surely had to be made for Jim and no one else. It was a chain, simple, round rings of gold. It was perfect for Jim's gold watch. As soon as she saw it, she knew it must be for him. It was like him, quiet and with great value. She gave the shopkeeper $21 and hurried home with 87 cents that was left. There was nothing to do but sit down and cry. So Della cried, which led to the thought, life was made up of little cries and smiles, with more little cries than smiles. Della stopped crying and dried her face. She stood by the window and looked out unhappily. Tomorrow would be Christmas Day, and she had only $1.87 to buy her husband Jim a gift. She had been saving every penny she could with this result. Jim earned $20 a week, which does not go far. Expenses had been greater than she had expected. They always are. Many a happy hour had been spent planning to buy something nice for him, something fine and rare, something close to the honor of being worthy of Jim's wife. There was a tall glass mirror between the windows of the room. Suddenly, Della turned from the window and stood in front of the mirror. She looked at herself. Her eyes were shining, but her face had suddenly lost its color within 20 seconds. She looked at her reflection and ran her fingers through her necklace. Now, Mr. and Mrs. James Dillingham Young had 2 prized possessions which they valued. One was Jim's gold timepiece, the watch that had been his father's and grandfather's. The other was Della's necklace. Even the Queen of Sheba would have envied Della's necklace. Suddenly, with a quick motion and brightness still in her eyes, Della put her hat and coat and danced out through the door into the street.